Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new Elder Scrolls Online role video of me, Sherman. Today guys, we're taking a look at Meridia's Guardian and their healer role and their healer setup, and you guys get to see from here if this is what you would like to play. So please understand this is a tank build initially, but it's been converted so it can play the healer role. So let's go ahead and take a look at its setup. So we have 64 into Magicka. This is going to give us a high Magicka pool. As you can see, we have 27,868 max Magicka. That's as high as this is going to get because of the way we have this set up. We do have a 1448 magic recovery. It seems kind of low. With a potion, we go to like 1500 and something, maybe 1600. We do have a 1571 spell damage with a 19% critical, and we can adjust that just so you guys can see. If you want to get a little bit higher spell critical out of your character, you can just do some simple adjustments to the build itself, and you can even push the max Magicka even higher, going to almost 30k max Magicka with a 29% spell critical. Now, a 29% spell critical doesn't mean that you're garbage. It just means that your heals aren't going to crit heal a lot. They're going to crit heal enough to get you through the content. So, again, we're not going to be too worried about that. We are using the Mage Munda Stone to give us higher max Magicka. We are using Witch Mother's Potent Brew to give us max Magicka, max health, and magic recovery. And then moving on to the gear, we are using the same gear we use when we play this character in any role. So we are using Swarm Mothers. This the 2-piece gives you stamina recovery. The 1-piece gives you stamina recovery. The 2-piece, when you block an attack from an enemy that is further than 8 meters from you, spin strands of silk and pull the enemy to you. This effect can occur once every second. We are using the Hunting's Rage set for our primary damage dealing set for when we play damage dealer, and then our other set is Blessed, Meridia's Blessed Armor. This is more for when we play a tank. Again, really good though, even when you're playing a healer, because if you do block an attack, you can mitigate some of the damage that they do by blinding the enemies. Alright, so let's go over the traits and stuff we have. I'm going to go over these real quick, the stats. So this one, 2-piece critical, 3-piece stamina, 4-piece critical, 5-piece weapon damage, and then the same thing over here. You get the physical resistance, stamina, spell resistance, and then when you block an attack, you have a 33% chance to blind the attacker, causing them to miss all their attacks for 5 seconds. This effect can occur once every 10 seconds. And then we are using a 2-handed sword with a resto staff for this. Now, if you wanted to, you could use a lightning staff on the front bar, but I prefer 2-handed because I like to be in the thick of things, even as a healer. And with the high resistances, I can do that. So as you can see, this one has a multi-effect enchant. The big pieces do, to allow you to have that hybridized playstyle. We also have Invigorating on all 3 pieces, so we can take advantage of those higher recovery rates for Magicka and stamina. And on the smaller pieces, we are using Sturdy with max stamina enchants. And this is just to keep our max stamina pool high. Again, hybridized. We have 2 runes here with weapon damage enchants, and their tri-rune. This allows us to hybridize our character better. And then we have a infused jewelry necklace piece with a magic recovery in it to give us that high magic recovery for when we play healer. Now, moving on to the weapons, we are using a 2-handed sword with a Crusher enchant. This is going to allow greater uptime of Crusher on our enemies for our group, and we can apply it to multiple targets because our tank can't just go running around spamming taunt on everything. So, also we have a Blessed Restoration Staff powered to increase our healing done, and we have a weakening enchant in it. So this is going to allow us to lower the DPS of the enemies, their damage output, and increase our healing output. So now moving on to the skills we have on our bar, starting with your class stuff. Make sure you unlock all your class skills and abilities and passives. This way you have access to those for when you play different roles. Weapon skills, we are using a 2-handed. Again, unlock the passives and the abilities so you can take advantage of them. And the same thing goes for restoration. Unlock the passives and abilities so you can take advantage of them. Moving on to armor passives, make sure you get the first 3 in medium, or light armor, medium armor, get the top 2 and the bottom 1. All these play into the reflection of how your character plays different roles. Heavy armor, all the passives. Soul magic, make sure you get these. Some of these can be really powerful, like this one can be really powerful depending on certain situations. Fighters Guild, make sure you get all the passives. Mages Guild, all the passives and skills, and same thing with Sigil Order. You never know, like, when you want to take advantage of this stuff. Undaunted, unlock the passives and the skills here, so you have them available. And you can switch out different abilities for different passives if you so choose. So, Alliance, again, same thing. Unlock the skills and abilities you feel you would be able to use more effectively in the different roles. And then also the Wood Elf, because that's what we are. Alchemy, medicinal use, and provisioning, Gourmand, and Connoisseur. Now I'm going to go over the skills on the bar. Starting with the first skill, we do have Blazing Spear. Now this is a great ability. It does some damage, but it also allows you to give resources to your allies. Now it is based on, very similar to the orbs from the Undaunted. It gives to the higher magicka or stamina. And it's not like Luminous Shards where it gives you high magicka, stamina, whatever is higher, and then less of the other one. It just does this. Next we have Brawler. Brawler's here just to give us a damage shield to keep us alive when we're out healing in our group. This way we can hit multiple enemies. We can get a damage shield. It's going to be small, as you can see, 3,116 damage shield for 6 seconds, but it increases in strength based on the amount of enemies we hit with it. Next ability we have is Ritual of Retribution. This is here just basically as an AoE damage, heal, and then a synergy for our allies that they can use. That when they activate it, they can purify themselves of any harmful effects. When you use it, it removes 2 negative effects from you. Next ability we have is Echoing Vigor. This is here just to give us an extra dot heal for our group. As you can see, it doesn't heal for much, 6,822 health over 5 seconds. That's fine. We don't need a massive heal from it, just enough to kind of carry our group. Next we have Inner Light. We have this here because we want that Max Magicka and the Major Prophecy to increase our crit capabilities, and that Max Magicka is going to help us heal better. Then we have Reviving Barrier. This is going to give a shield to your allies, a massive shield, and it's going to heal them for a lot, over 30 seconds. Swapping bars to the back bar, we do have Honor the Dead. This is here to have as a burst heal for our group. It will heal you or a wounded ally in front of you. Healing anyone who is below 75% self restores 60% of the ability's cost over 6 seconds as magicka to you. So you'll be able to save your resources with this if they're below 75% health. So if you catch somebody at a 75% health and boom, burst heal them, that's where you're going to get that from. Next we have Healing Springs. As you can see, this heals for heals on cast and heals over time. It also restores magicka for each friendly target you heal. Then we have Blessing of Restoration. Slam your staff down to activate a blessing. It's blessing, healing you and your allies in front of you for 5,625. Also grants minor ward and minor resolve, increasing physical and spell resistance by 1320 for 15 seconds. There is another morph to this called Combat Prayer. That's what a lot of people like to use, but I prefer using this when I play this character because I prefer that greater survivability in my group. Next, we have Radiant Aura. This one champion the cause of divine glory to apply minor magicka steal to all enemies around you for 24 seconds, causing you and your allies to restore 300 magicka every 1 second when damaging them. While slotted, gain major fortitude, major endurance, and minor intellect, increasing your health, stamina, and magic recovery by 10%. Since you're going to be mostly bouncing between both bars, mainly to throw this out, keep this up, and to cast this, you're mostly going to be on your back bar using this to heal and do damage because you're going to be doing a lot of heavy attacks with your Resto Staff. Then we have Inner Light again for the Max Magicka and the Major Prophecy. And then we have Aggressive Warhorn. This one allows you to boost your Max Magicka and stamina of your group, granting you 10% of those resources, and then also granting Major Force, increasing your critical damage done by 15%. This is more or less for your group's benefit. Alright, we're going to move on to the champion points now. Starting with the red tree, very similar to our stamina DPS setup. We have 66 on Ironclad, 56 in the thick skin, and this for 66 on Ironclad reduces your damage taken from direct damage attacks by 22%. 56 in the thick skin reduces your damage taken from damage over time effects by 20%. 56 in the hardy, reducing your damage taken from physical poison disease damage by 12%, and then 56 in the elemental defender, reducing your damage taken from flame frost, shock, and magic damage by 12%. Moving on over here, we have 19 into quick recovery, increasing your healing received by 5%. We have 17 into heavy armor focus, increasing your physical resistance for wearing 5 pieces of heavy armor by 1642. Moving on to the green tree, we have 40 into Warlord, reducing your break free cost by 16%. 16 into Sprinter, reducing your sprint cost by 10%. 16 into Bashing Focus, reducing your bash cost by 10%. And then moving on over here, we have 75 into Arcanus. This increases your mag recovery by 14%. 43 into Tenacity, increasing your magic and stamina of your fully charged heavy attacks by 10%. And then moving on over here, we have 40 into Tumbling, reducing your dodge roll cost by 16. 40 into Shadow Ward, reducing your block cost by 16. And then moving on over here, we have 43 into Blessed. This increases your healing done by 10%. 56 in Elfborn, increasing your critical damage and critical healing by 20%. 43 into Elemental Expert, increasing your Flame Frost, Shock, and magic damage by 10%. And then 9 into Spell Erosion, increasing your spell penetration by 907. Moving on to the middle tree, we have 16 into Staff Expert. This increases your light attack damage done with the Destruction Staff and Resto Staff and Overload by 10%. And then we have Master at Arms at 40, increasing your damage done with direct damage attacks by 16%. And then we have 40 into Thaumaturge, increasing your damage done with damage over time effects by 16%. And then 23 into Precise Strikes. This increases critical damage and critical healing done by 10% for our Vigor. And that is our skills and such. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this over to a dungeon. I'm going to show you guys its effectiveness as a healer in that dungeon. And you guys can decide then if this is how you want to play. Now remember, this thing is primarily a stamina-based character. Playing it as a healer limits your ability to play the true way it's designed, but it can still work to your advantage because you can take advantage of the monster set and that other set by blocking attacks and stuff from enemies, because when you do that you can blind them, which means they can't hit you for 5 seconds. You can also pull ranged enemies in to your location so you can help keep them on your group. And that's the other reason why we keep Brawler on our bar, is so we can keep that damage shield up really high more effectively. Now you probably won't be healing in-game trials with this, that's for sure, but it doesn't mean that you can't do dungeons and stuff like that. It works fine for that stuff, even in normal and veteran. It's just, it plays differently than what most healers do. So, Power Pot, the Magic of Steel. We're going to go ahead and throw out some heals here. And you can even see there, like, our Echoing Vigor is healing for quite a bit. Not a whole lot, but enough to get us by. These guys cannot kill me. There's no way. I have too much resistance. And you can, I'm just showing you the barrier, like when you activate it. Like, that just is a really good way to kind of say, oh crap, you know, this is happening, kind of thing. Why isn't my Blazing Spear going off? There we go. And you can see, like, my minor Magic of Steel is just going off like crazy because I have it applied to all the enemies and stuff. So And then with Warhorn, we go to 31k Magicka, which also boosts our healing. And there you guys go. That's the way it works as a healer. It's actually quite effective because it's practically unkillable with its higher resistance. Because you don't need to use your resistance buff, because you already got Magic of Steel and everything else at your fingertips. And as you can see, this is on veteran difficulty. So, and that is the Meridia's Guardian in its healer form. I hope you guys liked it and you guys know what's coming next. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you guys want to see more videos by me, you can subscribe. Other than that, I want to thank you all for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful day. And this guy might see you in game. Bye.